I think we should be live. Let's see if everything works. I think I got sound. I think everything is set. Hello. Today we've got some awesome news about Homo Floresiensis that I thought I would cover in a live stream. Because it's fun. So yeah, before we begin, grab your History with Kaylee merch. I am wearing the Homo Heidelbergensis shirt. It's awesome. It's got skulls on the sleeves. It's got the 3 skulls on the back, and of course the skulls on the front. It's awesome. So yeah, highly recommend. Grab yours. And without any further ado, because some people complain that I talk way too much before I get into the subject, my apologies for being human and want to talk to you, but I mean, alright. Yeah, let's just jump right in, and we'll see how this goes. Might be a shit show, because it's been a weird day. So, alright, here we go. So, oh, before I forget, I'm forgetting the Twitch. I always forget the Twitch. My apologies, people. I'm sorry. Alright, no one's watching on Twitch, but that's fine. It's perfectly fine, as long as I got it running. So, our ancient hobbit cousins ate dragon leftovers. So the news about Homo Floresiensis is that they might have never hunted. They might have been scavengers. And they also say that Homo Floresiensis most likely never created fire. Wait, what? So yeah, let's get into it. So the researchers fed a Komodo dragon a goat to figure out if Homo Floresiensis truly were the hunters they were originally thought to be. And I threw the scientific publication into the chat on YouTube. So if you scroll all the way back up, you can find it. So yeah, here we go. For over 20 years, a tiny extinct human species found on an Indonesian island baffled scientists. I love it when they say it baffles scientists. In part because it seemed to live a big life. Despite their small brains, these 3-foot-tall humans appeared to craft complex stone tools. They were thought to tame fire, and they were thought to hunt large game. Researchers called them Homo Floresiensis after the island Flores, where they were found, and nicknamed them hobbits after the unlikely heroes of J.R.R. Tolkien's books. Now, a new paper in the journal Science Advances knocks down a pillar of the hobbits' once impressive intellect. Soon after Homo Floresiensis was discovered in 2003 in a cave called Liang Bois, the research team had noticed scratch marks on bones that were buried in the same layers of the cave floor as the hobbits' stone tools. These remains belong to a stegodon, which is an extinct dwarf elephant, roughly the size of a cow, and some saw that as evidence of a hobbit meal. Though that conclusion rested almost entirely on the fact that the bones and tools turned up together. So, yeah. I wanted to see if we really could show that Homo Floresiensis was the hunter that had been portrayed for decades, said Elizabeth Grace Veitch, a paleoanthropologist at the University of Tübingen and the study's lead author. Instead, the new analysis suggests that the planet's largest and most terrifying living lizard, the Komodo dragon, beat the hobbits to the island's largest prey. Okay, here you can see a picture of that Liang Bois cave. Here you can see like the cave entrance, and this is where they made the discovery. Did they also have second breakfasts? I mean, I'm just gonna assume yes. Alright. Second breakfast or 11 C's. See, here we go. Of course, everyone wants to make the second breakfast jokes. Duh. To test the theory of hobbit hunters, Veach and her colleagues first had to learn to decipher the dragon's bite. At a zoo in Atlanta, the team ran a feeding experiment. After visiting hours, they turned a Komodo named Rinka loose on a goat carcass. His shearing teeth cut through the flesh and occasionally striking bone. What struck Veach was the creature's composure. He was careful and calculated, she says. She then gathered the 72 remaining bones, and the team set out to examine every mark under the microscope, building a reference library of the traces a Komodo leaves behind. The team then compared those modern marks against the marks on the ancient stegodon bones under a high-powered microscope. The dragon's tooth marks were shallow and wide, sometimes ending in a fan of striations where the tooth's serrated edges drags. A stone tool, on the other hand, would have left a mark that's deeper and straighter. Once they could confidently parse the two types of scratches, the team mapped out where each fell. The dragon marks clustered around the areas with the best pieces of meat, including the shoulders and hips, suggesting they got there first. The hobbit cut marks fell on the scraps, like the feet and the ribs. At first, I thought all I was seeing were cut marks, Veach says, but she was surprised when almost all of them turned out to be Komodo dragon tooth scores. The hobbits, it seems, were merely scouring for whatever the dragons left behind. In that light, they seem to have lived out one of Tolkien's own warnings. It does not do to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. Michael Petraglia, a professor of human origins at Griffith University in Australia, who was also not involved in the study, says the authors make a very strong and convincing case for passive scavenging. So here you can see a stegodon rib, pictured with a 10-centimeter scale bar surrounded by stone artifacts and small rat bones within an excavated block of sediment recovered from the Homo Floresiensis deposit at the Liang Bua Cave on Flores Island in Indonesia. This distinction between hunting versus scavenging matters in human evolution, especially when it comes to big game. Taking down prey bigger than ourselves is considered a marker of intelligence because pulling it off takes cooperation, planning, and the kind of accumulated passed down knowledge that scientists call cumulative culture. For this reason, yes, I am just reading articles out loud, Tim Buttons, yes, because this is a live stream and this is very new news and people like to hear it. So yeah, you can also read it for yourself if you prefer to do that, but we can also just have fun in a live stream here. So yeah. For this reason, researchers often assume hunting was only possible for the largest brained species like our own Homo sapiens and Neanderthals. Also, for the people that have no clue why I am reading an article out loud, I've already made 2 very in-depth videos about Homo Floresiensis, looking at everything we knew about them up until that point in time. So this live stream is just an addition of information that has just been released upon what I've already created in the past. I'm not going to recreate entire videos with just, one discovery. That would be weird, I think. And I also sometimes look into things more in depth than the article and, but mostly we're just having fun. So yeah. But here we go. It's very hard to distinguish hunting from scavenging based on bone modification features, says Kay Berensmeyer, a paleoecologist at Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History in DC, who was not involved in the study. This difficulty leaves her not yet convinced of a scavenging-only hypothesis for the Hobbit, though she says the team's case for identifying Komodo cut marks and Hobbit tool marks looks convincing, which is nice. But were the hobbits simpler than we had suspected? The possibility that hobbits may not have been hunters is just the latest in a string of finds from ongoing excavations at Liang Bua Cave that have slowly shrunk that image of hobbit cognitive complexity over the last decade. The tools, for example, have turned out to be simpler than originally assumed, no fancier than human ancestors' earliest toolkits. And in restudying the layers of the cave a decade ago, the team found they had confused some of the deeper hobbit layers of the cave floor with occupied the cave, accidentally anointing the wrong human as the fire maker. Okay, so who was the other human? Would that have been Homo erectus? Or possibly, like I said in my latest video about Homo Floresiensis, could that have been Homo habilis? Because we still don't necessarily know what the ancestral species of Homo Floresiensis was. Like, who was that? Was that erectus or was that habilis? I need a sippy. It's now been 25 years since I started working here, says Thomas Sutikna, wow, the excavation director at Liangboa, an archaeologist at Indonesia's National Research and Innovation Agency, and one of the paper's authors. It feels very satisfying to know that our hard work has refined our knowledge about Homo floresiensis, even if it means some of our initial interpretations turned out to be incorrect. Because that is science. Science is not, this is a discovery or we have an interpretation because it looks like something and then that's just it. That's not science. Science looks further. So we keep investigating. We keep trying to figure out more. And sometimes that means that your first interpretation simply was just wrong. And that is okay. It's okay to be wrong as long as you continue doing the work. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. We all sometimes confuse things or interpret things in a different way than they actually are. And you will only figure that out upon further investigation. And I'm really happy that they're continuing excavations at the Liangboa cave and that they continue the research into what they have already found in the past. It's not clear cut. It's not, oh, it's just this or it's just that. Never. And also the bones of Homo floresiensis seem to have never actually fossilized. It's like blotting paper, which sounds really disgusting. I would rather have like a rock hard fossil of something than something that if you touch it just morphs like blotting paper and just no, nope. My brain really doesn't know. I really don't like that. It's so nasty. So here you can see someone working like this is Benjamin Tarus, a Liangboa team member, excavating Homo floresiensis deposits at the site. So this new paper that figured out that Homo floresiensis may have never hunted and may have only scavenged, it also re-examined the question of fire. Initially supported by charcoal and burnt animal bones at Liangboa, a previous analysis had suggested that this evidence had come not from the time when hobbits lived in the cave, but from younger layers of the cave floor, laid down when Homo sapiens occupied the site. Of the 3,155 stegodon bone fragments the team examined in the new study, only a single rib showed signs of fire, and that rib sat right on the seam where younger sapiens layers meet the older hobbit ones, threatening the same potential confusion that scrambled the earlier reading. The team thinks this bone was later scorched in Homo sapiens' time, as it sat near the surface. So no, you may also no, not for now, maybe other time. So the cave's rat bones made the contrast even starker. Across 4,240 rodent bones from the hobbit layers, not one was burned, compared to roughly 1 in 5 charred in the sapiens layers. Only further evidence, the researchers argue, that the hobbits weren't so behaviorally advanced after all. This points to perhaps the biggest question left in the hobbits' journey. Who did they evolve from? The larger, relatively advanced Homo erectus? or an older, simpler human species that was already small-brained and small-bodied? Whether the new findings tip that question depends on what you make of fire and hunting to begin with, says National Geographic explorer Matthew Tockery, an anthropologist at Lakehead University and a co-author on the study. If scientists accept fire and hunting as part of the Homo erectus toolkit, he adds, an idea that is still debated, the new results weaken that argument. Petraglia cautions against reading the ancestry story as closed, noting that it's still unresolved. We still do not know which one of the other extinct species was ancestral to Homo floresiensis. Like I said, it's possible that it's habilis, it's possible that it's erectus. So, when the Hobbit was first uncovered, the find tempted scientists with the possibility that small brains could do big things in human evolutionary history. Since then, researchers in South Africa, for example, have controversially argued that another small-brain species, Homo naledi, that we covered 2 weeks ago in a live stream when some major news about Homo naledi came out, that they also behaved in advanced symbolic ways. But with the new hunting analysis, perhaps we're moving away from the surprising behaving stories, Petraglia says, which could be more consistent with what we know about small-brained hominins. Instead of asking how much brain power certain behaviors require, then maybe researchers should be asking how much brain power a species needs to simply survive. After all, the hobbits were one of the last surviving human species before it became just us, just Homo sapiens. For all the new picture strips away, the hobbits were quite adaptively successful, Petraglia says, noting they were able to survive changing environments and challenging circumstances for close to 1 million years on the island, far longer than Homo sapiens have existed on Earth. Veitch agrees. The fact that they survived isolated on an island until 50,000 years ago without needing to hunt or use fire to survive speaks volumes, she says. It's a testament, she thinks, to how well they adapted to their own strange corner of the world. After all, while the real hobbits might not be the action stars of this adventure, they did seem to know a thing or two about living with dragons. So, Homo floresiensis lived with dragons. Komodo dragons, to be exact, but still. And they may have never hunted the stegodon, which I had noted in both of my videos that I made about Homo floresiensis that they did, because that was the evidence up until that point in time. And that's what I like about science. It's not stagnant. It's ever-changing. We keep learning more. We keep uncovering more. We keep researching and just broadening our understanding and the picture that we have of the past. So this was the first article. As you can see, I have 2 more, and then I have the study, and I have a 4th article, but honestly, wasn't that great, but we'll see. I'm also not going to do a very long stream tonight, because I got a migraine coming on, which is fun. No, it's not. It's not fun. I do not recommend getting migraines. People, do not. Also, before I continue with the next article, consider joining me in Turkey, in Turkey. We are going to Göbekli Tepe, Karahan Tepe, Sefer Tepe, the Bazda Caves, Haran, Şuayip, Sogmatar. We're going to climb Mount Nemrut. We're doing a boat tour on the Euphrates River. We're going to try and sneakily maybe have a visit at Harbetsuvan Tepe again, like we did last year, which was incredible. The Japanese head archaeologist was amazing, showing us around, telling us everything that they had uncovered at that point in time. And it was really awesome to just hear it directly from him while his team was still excavating, while he was speaking to us. And we were allowed to film and take photos. And it's just an experience, standing there on the hill of Harbetsuvan Tepe, and the archaeologist just pointing way, way, way in the distance. And he was like, do you see that white spot over there? And I'm like, yeah, I see that. And he's like, that's Göbekli Tepe. Wait, what? That absolutely blew my mind. So yeah, consider joining. We're also going to Cappadocia, the fairy chimneys, and we're going into the underground city of Kaimakli. Highly recommend doing that, unless you're claustrophobic like me. But honestly, it's doable. I just want to go down, stand there for 2 seconds, and get the hell out. Because getting out takes just as long as getting down. So, I mean, honestly, it's doable. I am very, very, very claustrophobic, but for me, I've done it twice now. I can do it a third time. I can do it a fourth time. I can do it a fifth time. It's okay. We end the tour near Ankara, where we go to Hattusha, which was the ancient capital of the Hittite Empire. So, yeah, it's really cool. Consider joining. It's definitely the trip of a lifetime. We will make sure that your experience is amazing. And yeah, you will be with me for like, what, 10 days of listening and talking to me and just, sharing stories and sharing experiences and just filming and whatever. It's really cool. So yeah, okay. And that said, we continue on with the next article. This is a CNN Science article. Sometimes I like them. This is also what I do when I make videos, by the way. This is why I'm doing these live streams, to just share with you a little bit of the process that I do behind the scenes. So whenever I make a video, I grab all the articles I can find about the subject that I'm making a video on. I grab the scientific publication and I read all of it, which is a lot of reading. And then while I'm reading, I have questions pop up in my brain. If they say a location, I want to figure out where that location is, in which country, in which area, usually which climate. Does that have anything to do with the subject? Which culture lived there around the time of the discovery, or around the time of the structure I'm talking about, or things like that. And it just takes about, well, the quickest script I can write takes me about a day or two because of all the reading. It's so much stuff that you have to do before you're even typing your first words. And I just enjoy doing a little bit of that on the stream so that you can see what it's like to do your own independent research. The research, like the actual work, has already been done by the experts, and I trust the experts. They're amazing. They do incredible work. So I read the articles about their work. I read the publication about what they uncovered or discovered, or the revelations that may change our perception, things like that. I very much like this, and sharing that with you guys. For me, it's fun. For me, it's just, part of what I already do, but just doing that with you guys. So yeah, hobbit-like humans may have scavenged Komodo dragons' leftovers to survive. Prehistoric human relatives, nicknamed hobbits, due to their short stature, may have been scavengers rather than skilled hunters capable of taking down big game or building cooking fires, according to new research. The study adds to growing evidence that Homo Floresiensis, which had a brain only slightly bigger than that of a chimpanzee, wasn't as advanced as scientists previously believed. I just remembered that it was small. So yeah. Have you had articles where they set alarm bells off, something isn't right? Oh, many, many, many. Oh yes, many. And sometimes I have made videos on that, or at least included that bit of information in a video, that the articles I read were just horrid. Yeah. So, yeah. Infidel, I see you. I know you. It's a good thing I already know you. Because otherwise, you and your Christian talk? No. No, dude. No. But it only because I know you. So, this study adds to growing evidence that Homo floresiensis, which had a brain only slightly bigger than that of a chimpanzee, wasn't as advanced as scientists previously believed. Fossils unearthed by archaeologists in the Lianghua cave on the Indonesian island of Flores in 2003 led to the discovery of the diminutive hominin. The creature had a skull the size of a grapefruit and likely stood about 3.3 feet. 1 meter tall. Excavators uncovered stone artifacts and bones of Stegodon, Florensis insularis, a bison-sized extinct relative of elephants, the size of a cow. Which it doesn't say here, but it said it in the previous article. So they found that near the Homo Floresiensis fossils. The find suggested that the hobbits had hunted with tools to take down the large animals. Burnt bones of smaller animals also hinted that the hobbits could wield fire. Such advanced behavior is considered a key evolutionary trait associated with large-brained hominins, such as Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, or modern humans, and Homo erectus, an early human that lived between. Red flag. Someone was asking me about like alarm bells and red flags. Homo erectus lived more than 2.2 million years ago already, possibly even 2.4. This bullshit. They're saying that not even 2 million years old. CNN Science year article probably used a source that was about a decade or so old. And that's bad. So yeah, here. Bad. Really bad. I even made a video on that. Like, what? How long ago? Let me see. It was a video about Homo erectus. Here. More than 2 million years ago. So yeah. This video, highly recommend. Homo erectus may have even evolved in Ethiopia, and it was at least 2.2 million years ago. So, all right, back to this. And Infidel, thank you so much for the super chat. And like I said, I knew exactly what you meant. It's a good thing I know you from other places. But yeah, normally I can be a bit of a bitch when people are being very Christian in my chat, but it was because I knew you. It was fine. All right, so Homo erectus, which was an early human that lived between at least 2.2 million years ago and 110,000 years ago. The potential connection between hunting tools and fire use in Homo floresiensis has even led some researchers to believe that the hobbits were closely related to Homo erectus. Dr. Elizabeth Grace Veitch, a paleoanthropologist who studies the evolution of the human diet and how early humans interacted with animals, wanted to take a closer look at how Homo floresiensis survived on an isolated island between 190,000 years ago and 50,000 years ago. Veitch and her colleagues carried out a multifaceted analysis of stegodon bones found in Flores, studying what happened to the bones after the stegodons died. I wanted to see if we could really show that Homo floresiensis was the hunter that it had been portrayed as for decades, said Veitch, lead author of the study published Friday in the journal Science Advances and research associate in the Human Origins program at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of Natural History. Again, this is that same stegodon rib that we showed in the previous article. Stuff happens, so yeah. It's a good thing they have the same things. That's also a very, very important thing when you do independent research. Read multiple articles and see if there's a correlation or if they show or say the same things. That's a positive. Saying weird things and not finding that weird thing back in any of the other articles, you can just assume that that was fake news and misinformation, or just simply put, bullshit. Simple like that. But the study, which included a feeding experiment, involved a Komodo dragon, suggests that the hobbit only used their tools to scavenge the raw stegodon leftovers off of the island's sole carnivorous animal, and Homo floresiensis possibly didn't use fire to cook the meat. The finding, combined with previous research, shifts how experts are thinking about Homo floresiensis' spot on the family tree of human evolution. Well, they were somewhere on the tree of human evolution. They were not related to us. I think that was quite clear already, possibly, but, maybe it was a good thing to make it more clear. So, thousands of tools have been found alongside Homo Floresiensis fossils, suggesting the early hominins were crafting what they needed to process stegodon meat from the bone out of local rocks called chert, said study co-author Brianna Pobiner, a paleoanthropologist at the Smithsonian Institution. But the researchers wanted to see whether the markings on the stegodon bones showed evidence that the hobbits were also hunting the only large-bodied herbivore on the island at the time. Stegodon weighed about 1,260 pounds, which is around 570 kilograms, and stood roughly 5 feet or 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder. The hunt for answers took the researchers to an unexpected place, Georgia's Zoo, Atlanta, where they watched a Komodo dragon named Rinka use its powerful bite to feed on a goat carcass and better understand how the giant lizards leave behind teeth marks on animal bones. I really think that that was very smart of them to do. So, if you want to figure out what marks the Komodo dragon would have left on the stegodon bones way back in the day when Homo floresiensis was still alive, you have to figure out what that looks like. So why not use a goat carcass? And why not use a Komodo dragon that's inside a zoo? It's a very controlled environment. It's very easy to not have your work manipulated in any way, shape, or form. If you do this in the wild, you have no clue if there was any other predator or maybe even possibly humans in the area or in the vicinity that may have ruined your experiment. So I think that this was really smart of them to do, like completely figure out what traces the teeth of the Komodo dragon would have left behind on the bones of the stegodon way back in the day. So the team used a 3D scanning technique on the goat bones left over from Rinka's meal to evaluate them alongside the cut marks that humans made using stone tools. So there's two controlled experiments, and that's very smart. And so they then evaluated them with the stegodon bones that were found in the Lianghua cave on the island of Flores in Indonesia. So after comparing the marks on the stegodon bones with our sample of Komodo dragon tooth marks and cut marks made by humans, I was surprised by how similar most of the marks were to our Komodo dragon sample, Veach wrote in an email. Komodo dragon tooth marks were also most commonly found on the meatiest part of the stegodon, while cut marks from the hobbit stone tools were found in less choice parts of the animal. The researchers believe that, much like how Komodo dragons hunt water buffaloes today, they actually... Wait, what? Whoa, wait, whoa, whoa. Komodo dragons hunt water buffaloes? Water buffaloes are huge! Okay, now I actually believe that a Komodo dragon could completely kill me if I were to come across it. Wait, I have to just... There's videos of it. Oh my lord. People! Damn! Hot damn! Oh, Komodo dragons really are insane. Wait, what? God damn. Okay, well, this is telling me I will probably never go to Flores. Look at this! This is scary as hell! Holy, wait, I'm just, sorry, my flabbers have been gasted. I'm shooketh. Honestly, I am shooketh. Look at this, like that water buffalo is so massive, and this Komodo dragon is just like, I'm gonna kill you. Wait, what? Okay. Back to the article, but holy hell. So the researchers believe that much like how Komodo dragons hunt water buffaloes today, that's actually real. So these pictures that I showed you, this is real. This is not AI. Like, I know the telltale signs of AI. This ain't it. This is real. Okay, sorry. I'm just still, my fibers have been gasted. Apologies. So they were using their venomous bite to take down stegodons. And after the scene was clear, Homo floresiensis swept in to cleave meat from what remained. The hobbits wouldn't have been at risk of venom poisoning while scavenging because Komodo dragon venom contains proteins that stomach enzymes would break down, according to the study. That's actually good, by the way. That's good. So if you get it in your blood or in your skin, that's when you become poisoned with the venom. Does venom poison you? I think so. Yeah, I'm blonde. Is there a different name for that? Probably not. I might look really, really dim. So yeah, but still. But apparently, if you eat the meat that's been laced with the venom of a Komodo dragon, you're all fine. Okay, that's very good to know. So, to search for evidence of fire use, the researchers analyzed rodent bones littering in the cave, deposited over thousands of years by roosting owls. If hearths had been built in the cave, underlying bones would have shown evidence of charring, but not a single bone out of the 4,500 studied was burnt. No stegodon bones showed char marks either. Okay. Okay. The researchers suspect that the few burnt bones found in later archaeological layers of the cave sediments are evidence of Homo sapiens using the cave from about 46,000 years ago, long after Stegodon and Homo floresiensis had disappeared. Were Stegodon bones burned found at Liangboa Cave? No burnt bones. No. Okay, just making sure. Just making sure that the article is correct. Sorry. My apologies. So Homo floresiensis likely lived off scavenged raw meat, plants, and insects, Bobener said, and they persisted for thousands of years despite the presence of Komodo dragons. And remember how small Homo floresiensis was. 3.3 feet. Only about 1 meter tall. They were tiny. And these Komodo dragons are massive, especially compared to such a tiny human. So the shoulder height of a water buffalo is around 1 meter 50. That's already 1.5 the size of a Homo floresiensis. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy to think about. So, given that modern-day Komodo dragons seem to attack humans only occasionally and almost never attack humans unprovoked, thank the fudging gods, all of them, preferably none of the Abrahamic religious ones. Thank you. Like Osiris and Zeus and Ninhursag and Freya and you name them. You name them. But all of them. Thank all the gods. They simply living in a group and being wary of Komodo dragons may have been enough for Homo floresiensis to largely avoid becoming their prey, Pobener wrote in an email. Which is nice. Very nice, because, yeah. The study does highlight that prehistoric human relatives who overlapped in time with Neanderthals and modern humans could have extremely different behavioral adaptations, Brianna Pobener added. Continued research investigating different aspects of Homo floresiensis since the species' discovery has changed many initial interpretations about the hominins, said study co-author Dr. Thomas Sutikna, who was part of the team that found the first fossil and has led research at Liangboa since 2001. And here again you can see excavation team member Benjamin Tares, who's working on Homo floresiensis deposits at the Liangboa cave. Really cool. Veitch is continuing her work to see whether the hobbits consumed other animals to get a better idea of their ecological role within the island ecosystem. The idea that Homo Floresiensis did not hunt or use fire could also signal a different evolutionary path for the hobbits than previously considered. It's possible that Homo Floresiensis was more closely related to a different early Homo species, diverging before Homo erectus appeared. A more simplistic behavioral repertoire may indicate an ancestry that separated from the Homo lineage prior to these more advanced behavioral adaptations appearing in later Homo species, Veitch said. The new study reinforces a long-held suspicion that Homo floresiensis is not a dwarfed form of Homo erectus, but a descendant of a more primitive Homo habilis-like or Australopithecus-like form that arrived on the island more than 1 million years ago, said Dr. Chris Stringer, a research leader specializing in human origins and paleoanthropology at London's Natural History Museum. This is also something that I fully covered in my updated version on Homo floresiensis that is here on the channel. Go all the way back up to these are all my videos, and if you go to popular, it is my second most popular video. It's close to 1 million views. If only 58,000 of you guys will watch it, then it gets to like 1 million views, and that would make that my second video to reach 1 million views. So if you can find 58,000 people to watch a video for me, thanks. But also, this is something that I have covered in this video. So in my first video on Homo floresiensis, I just covered the species. I just told you what they looked like, where they came from, how long ago they lived. That was kind of it. And I never thought that I did them any due diligence, honestly. So I made an updated version in January of, I think it was 2024. Yeah, I think so too. 2024, maybe 2025. I'm not sure. I am blonde. This is me. So yeah. But in that video, I talked about two things that were very important and that I hadn't mentioned in my first video. The first was that the ancestral species of Homo floresiensis may have possibly been Homo habilis, because the brain size, the way they look, like their morphology and their stone tools are much more similar to that of habilis than it is of erectus. This new revelation, this new discovery, this new publication and research that has been presented to us actually leans more to Homo floresiensis being a descendant of habilis, or possibly Australopithecus. But then again, habilis may not have been a Homo species. Habilis itself may have been an Australopithecus species, which is actually something that I do my best. I've also covered, I think it was this year or last year. It was 5 months ago. It was this year. So the Homo habilis may not have actually been human. They may not have been a Homo species. It might have been the case that we should remove them from the Homo genus and actually put them in the genus of the Australopithecines, which would make the species name Australopithecus habilis, which is still in line with Homo floresiensis. Are there any habilis fossils outside of Africa? Not that we currently know of. But then again, there are so many fossils all over the world that are just being held in museums or universities, and they've not had enough research done. They may have been looked at in the past by anthropologists with their understanding, which compared to what we know now was very limited. So this is why I've spoken quite a bit in a couple of my videos that we need more research done into things that we have already uncovered, more in-depth research. Do the scans again with our modern technology. Like, just look at it again with a fresh pair of eyes. Sometimes that will reveal things that in the past was not looked at. Me doing something alone or me doing something with someone else, me doing it alone is going to take way more time and effort, and I may not see everything. While if I work with someone else, they might point out things that I wasn't even looking at. So, yeah. Yeah. What's the fourth most popular video? Wait, what did you say? Fourth most popular video, though. Fourth, yeah, okay, yeah. Since the dawn of humanity. It's demonetized. YouTube ain't paying me for that. So I'm actually like this close to recreating it next year for April Fools, because it was supposed to be an April Fool's video in 2022. And it became the last joke I made as a 29-year-old, as I uploaded it the day before I turned 30. I'm weird. We all know this. Y'all watch me. We know this. I'm weird. It's fine. It's fine. Okay? It got demonetized because the original thumbnail for this had a statue of like an Egyptian statue with a dong. And you can't show any artistic expressions or historical expressions of dongs, apparently. You can't say the word dick, but you also can't show that. So any art history that's showing a nippy or a dong, you get demonetized. So yeah, it's funny. Don't ask me if I'm single or not, because like I said in the beginning of this stream, Kevin, my boyfriend, is in Curacao. Well, at least he's in a plane to Curacao for work. So yeah, I don't like people asking me about my relationship status, because it's none of your business. None of your business. It's my life. I can do whatever the fudge I want. So yeah. All right. Continue with this. Okay. We still had a little bit. So Homo habilis is one of the earliest known species of the Homo genus. The Australopithecus species, like the famed Lucy fossil, walked upright but had a relatively small brain, closer in size to that of an ape. Stringer was not involved in research of this new publication, but it reinforces the minority view that Floresiensis does not really belong in the genus Homo and that it should be redesignated, although choosing a new genus name will not be straightforward without knowing more of its ancestry. So yeah. Cool. And that was the second article that we had. Really awesome. And then there's the third. But honestly, I think this third article will just actually say the exact same thing. Oh, here, you got some cool bones of the Stegodon florensis insularis that apparently got killed by Komodo dragons. A lot. And I'm still, sorry, like, I still have to, like, look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at that. Honestly. If you're walking there and a Komodo dragon were to jump at you like this, you would actually shit your pants. I would shit my pants and just faint. Just hope, I would hope I would pass out before it even grabbed me. Honestly. That's not how I want to die. I don't want to die screaming and kicking while being poisoned by the venom of a Komodo dragon. Hell no. Hell no. Yeah, you can't really run fast. I think Komodo dragons run really fast. How fast do Komodo dragons run? Can a Komodo dragon outrun a human? Yeah. Oh, a human can outrun a Komodo dragon. Oh my god. Okay, thank god. Okay, they can sprint really fast, though. But they lack stamina. Okay, so if you have any stamina, you might be able to outrun them. If you don't really have great stamina, I wish you well. Because, did I see I saw a spider. I saw a spider walk. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, the things are so nasty. Oh my god. Yes, I have arachnophobia. Oh, I saw a spider walk. No. Now I don't want to sit in my office anymore. Help. Help. Yeah, exactly. Sounds like they could outrun most humans. Run in a zigzag. Head to higher ground. They do not climb stairs or trees as adults. And seek medical attention if they bite you. It is absolutely critical to get to a hospital. Awesome! Yeah, you just have to run faster than your friends. That's not good. Guys. That's not good. I'm getting like the, It's weird. Those Komodo dragons, man, like, yes, they can jump. Like, they can at least, like, spring off. Like, they're crazy! I had no clue that Komodo dragons, like, I kind of knew that they were insane, but, like, I had no clue that they were this insane. Show me. Damn. Oh my god, look at how they tore into that. Look at how they tore into that, the flesh and everything. Wow. Okay, so new fear unlocked. So I hope everyone here in the chat has the same new fear unlocked as me, because apparently I am now deathly afraid of Komodo dragons. It's crazy. My lord. Okay, well. And when I say my lord, I do not mean the God, the Christian one, or the whatever, the Yahweh, the Jesus. No, 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 no. It's Osiris, or Horus, or it's a goddess like Ninhursag, or Freya, or Zeus, or whatever. Like any other god works for me. It's like, yeah. Komodo is land shark. Well, I believe that. I believe that. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, YouTube terms of service is just weird because it depends on what they think advertisers do not want to see. Even though that dong video here, like this dong video since the dawn of humanity, showing all ancient phallic symbolism, which is one of the oldest religions in the world, worshipping fertility cultures. I mean, come on, that's the origins of all religions. Fertility cultures, because if babies don't be born and plants do not grow, we all die. So yeah, of course you worship that. But yeah, that video was actually going viral, and it gained more than 150,000 views in like 2 weeks in 2023, around November, December. While it was going viral, YouTube decided to demonetize it, which made it limited for viewing, and the video died out while it was going viral. In other words, sponsors were getting money's worth, and people were clicking on it because that was one of the few videos on my entire channel where you could have like casino ads and alcohol ads, because that video was perfect for that, because it was 18 plus. It was already marked as not for kids. And I was making good money off of it for that month, and then after that, I never earned a dime with it anymore. So yeah. That sucks. But yeah, this was the discovery on Homo Floresiensis, and I really thought it was cool. If you haven't seen my recent videos, as you can see here, we've got the dolmen of Guadalperal in Spain that is being submerged into a reservoir because a dam was built. And yeah, the stones are eroding really fast for the past 60 years. And we might lose that ancient piece of history forever if nothing gets done about it. So that's why I made a second video on it, because I already covered it years ago in a video. And nothing has been done since. And it's been 5 years since I made that first video. So I decided to make a second video, like an updated version, in hopes to maybe save this ancient structure. But if people don't watch my video, they don't know about this structure or the fact that we might lose it forever and that nothing has been done in the past 5 years. So yeah, please watch that video. Also, the paleo fantasy caveman myth that just won't die, which is courtship by club, otherwise known as marriage by capture. It's something that never really happened. Like, maybe it happened here and there, but not on a big scale. Women, back in the day, weren't just dragged by their hairs into caves and then raped. Women were also seen as equals for a long time, and sometimes even as superiors, because humans and other species humans used to live in a matrilineal society and not in a patriarchal society. I know. And yeah, I recreated my ancient air conditioning video. So yeah, go watch that. And I think that's about it. Consider joining me in Turkey, and consider grabbing yourself some awesome merchandise. Look at this. I got Homo Heidelbergensis with the skulls on the sleeves. It's cool. And let me just put my hair away a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Having 3 skulls on your spine? Come on, people. Grab your shirts. Grab your merch. It was the pinned message in the chat. And I think with that said, we're going to call it a day because it's warm. I got a migraine. This was about all the energy and like funness and weirdness that I could give today. I hope it was enough. I hope you liked it. And I'll see you next time. Probably in a new video. Maybe this weekend. Maybe on Monday. Depends. Really depends. And people attacking me over the ancient air conditioning video. Oh, they keep doing that for years. With the first one and now with the second one. People saying that it's not air conditioning, even though I've got like professionals in the air conditioning business that tell me this is indeed air conditioning, because you effectively change the condition of the air, and you don't want to actually remove humidity in a desert climate. You actually want to add humidity. Weird, right? My lord. So, yeah. And, I'll see you next time. Maybe this weekend in a video. Maybe I'll see you in the premiere. And otherwise, maybe on Monday. Or maybe on Tuesday. Depends. My body has been shite lately. So, I do not recommend having ankylosing spondylitis. Just making that known. But thanks for joining. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day, great evening, great night. Whatever you want to call it. And see you soon. Okay, bye.